in men and women fighting ferociously alongside other maniots to defeat every foreign force foolish enough to attempt to occupy their part of Greece, and in being the first to declare war on the Turks in Greece's 1821 War of Independence. But the smile faded as he thought of his uncle, the last male of his generation. The others had all died young, Kouros' father the only one from natural causes. West of Corinth, Kouros turned south at Tripoli onto a two-lane road toward Sparta. In these late October days, with most tourists gone, he'd made good time, but still had halfway to go, and beyond Sparta the road would slow him down even more. This wasn't the Sparta of ancient times, whose inhabitants lived a warrior life disinterested in erecting the magnificent edifices so important to their northern Peloponnese neighbors and the far-off Athenians. No. This was modern Sparta, a town of government offices, businesses, and residences where prosperity depended upon groves of oranges and olives, not on war. North of Sparta, the road coursed through a 5-mile stretch of lush, high mountain passes, overlooking broad green valleys and a horizon of jagged mountain giants. He always wondered as he traveled through this wilderness why nearly one-half of Greece's 11 million people chose to live crammed together around Athens, with so much of Greece this green and uninhabited. And I'm one of them. South of Sparta, Kouros passed into the Mani. The land turned harsher, wilder, tougher, less forgiving, though still green and filled with citrus, olives, and corn. But once he turned west and began climbing the rugged north-south Taygetos mountain range, greens swiftly turned to browns and grays. On the other side of those mountains lay the region of the Mani his family called home, arid rocky land penned in by the Ionian Sea to the west and worn-down limestone mountains to the east, a place where olive trees battled with boulders for the region's arable land. The source of this part of the Mani's only significant modern economy loomed like sentinels along the ridges and hillsides. Ancient 4- and 5-story square stone battle towers, historical treasures erected by Mani families as far back as the 13th century, which today drew tourists in flocks. But to Kouros, the towers were stark reminders of another side of the Maniots' fierce character. For although they offered strong defensive positions against bandits, pirates, and foreign invaders, their principal purpose served the family's ruthless battles with their neighbors. Here the concept of family vendetta was so deeply ingrained that Mani society had rules on how, when, and against whom vengeance could and could not be taken. Doctors and priests, for instance, were considered too valuable to the community to serve as targets of an offended family. At the southern end of a long, wide plateau running between the road and the mountains, Kouros turned left and followed a rock and dirt lane up toward a sharp-edged, 2-story stone farmhouse. Decade-old cars and a couple of beat-up pickups sat parked every which way next to a 5-story, beige and gray tower made of the same stone as the farmhouse 100 feet away. He parked next to one of the pickups and sat for a moment, staring at the farmhouse. Everything about it, from the color of its walls, its rough-hewn wooden front door, and its traditional Peloponnesian terracotta-tiled roof, brought one word to mind: nondescript. Precisely how his uncle wanted his home to appear to the outside world. On the other side of the farmhouse door lay what few could imagine existed in historically impoverished southwest Mani. This was Mesa, or Deep Mani, where people struggled with virtually waterless, salt wind-driven land, enduring lives far more difficult than did Maniots living in the fertile olive and honey-rich areas of Exo, or Outer Mani to the north, or to the east, beyond the Taygetos mountain range, in Kato, or Lower Mani. Amid land so poor and scarce that not even the deeply held Greek tradition of dowry was practiced, Uncle's home featured artwork and furnishings as fine as any to be found in a ship owner's Athenian mansion. Its ground floor, which once functioned as stables, mangers, and a barrier from the damp ground, now served as the main living area. Kouros' grandfather had lived in this house after finishing medical school. He'd returned to his village to practice medicine, serving what he called his penance.